There is a ship sitting in the Persian Gulf right now that most people have seen in photographs and still cannot name. From the outside, it looks like a commercial oil tanker heading to a refinery. Wide hull, flat top, nothing announces what it actually is, and that is not an accident. That is the whole point. Because everything this ship does happens beneath what you can see. Below that flat top are levels going 40 feet down into the water, spaces that have sent teams into dark water in the middle of the night, seized weapons bound for active war zones, and held position while Iranian patrol boats closed to within 50 yards. None of it is visible from the surface. None of it was ever meant to be. Most coverage stops at the flight deck. That is exactly the mistake. The flight deck is just the roof. What actually makes this ship one of the most quietly effective platforms in the fleet is hidden below it. We are going down there right now, level by level, because once you see what is running beneath the surface of this ship, you will never look at it the same way again. Here is something almost no coverage ever mentions. The Expeditionary Sea Base did not start as a warship. It started as a commercial Alaska-class oil tanker. General Dynamics NASSCO stripped the cargo tanks, rebuilt the interior from scratch, and gave the United States Navy a platform 785 feet long that could sit in hostile waters for years without ever coming home. It does not rush to a crisis. It is already there when one begins. When people say hidden decks or underwater levels, the first image that comes to mind is sealed rooms behind classified doors. That is not what this is. These are working spaces built into the hull below the flight deck, and several of them sit permanently below the waterline. The ship carries a 40-foot draft. 40 feet of this vessel are submerged at all times, holding aviation fuel, ballast tanks, and a propulsion system that never stops running. Without those lower levels, nothing above them works. But the layout is not what most people would expect. The space that actually controls every mission on this ship is not buried at the very bottom. It sits one level above the waterline, in a space most people have never heard described in any real detail. And that single deck changes how the entire ship operates. Below the flight deck, sitting one level above the waterline, is 65,000 square feet of open floor running through the center of the hull. The Navy calls it the mission deck. That name barely covers what this space can actually do. Think of a warehouse built inside a warship, except this warehouse completely transforms between deployments. The floor is wired with 2 megawatts of electrical power and fitted with container lockdown points across the entire deck. Any system brought aboard gets locked down, plugged in, and made fully operational without touching the ship's structure. Command centers, medical facilities, drone operations pods, weapon storage, living quarters for special operations teams. The containers swap out, and the mission changes entirely. The same hull that staged a SEAL raid one month becomes a mine warfare command center the next. No redesign, no new ship, just different containers, and a completely different mission. If a ship that reinvents itself for any mission on Earth impresses you, drop the word adapt in the comments right now. But a mission is only as effective as the system surrounding it. The real story begins once equipment, crews, and aircraft all start moving at the same time. And that is exactly where we are going next. The mission deck does not run itself, and this is the part most coverage never reaches. Forward in the ship, nearly 40 networked command seats handle intelligence collection, unmanned aircraft coordination, and mission planning across an entire theater. During one deployment, the Lewis B. Puller flew more than 1,200 drone hours, collecting intelligence for Central Command. None of that happened on the flight deck. It happened in those rooms below it, completely out of sight. Below those command spaces are armories, ordnance magazines, and maintenance workshops, keeping boats, aircraft, and equipment fully ready without a single shore base to rely on. The aft section runs on 44 military Sealift Command civilian mariners. The military detachment of 100 sailors handles weapons, air operations, and force protection. 2 separate crews, same hull, neither one stops. That structure is exactly why the Lewis B. Puller has been forward deployed in the Persian Gulf since 2017, without the hull ever leaving. The ship stays, the crews rotate, and while most people imagine helicopters launching first, the operation actually begins much deeper inside the ship. That is where we are going next. A mission on this ship does not start on the flight deck, it starts below it. Intelligence from drones overhead and unmanned vehicles operating underwater feeds into the command spaces below the flight deck. A target gets built. Teams draw weapons from the armories. Equipment moves to the mission deck. Everyone holds position and waits for the order. Then the cranes go to work, lowering boats into the water, sometimes in complete darkness, while helicopters lift from the flight deck above and live data feeds push into the command rooms below. The entire ship moves as one connected machine. Cranes, aircraft, boats, command spaces, all running simultaneously through the hidden levels beneath the surface. On January 11th, 2024, that machine was activated in the Arabian Sea off Somalia. Navy SEALs launched from the mission deck at night. Helicopters lifted from the flight deck. Their target was a wooden vessel carrying Iranian ballistic missile components bound for the Houthis. The teams boarded in rough seas and seized everything. 2 SEALs were lost that night. The Navy searched for 10 days before declaring them deceased. That mission did not work because of what was visible on the outside of this ship. It worked because every hidden level operated as one connected system, and that idea has become the blueprint for what the Navy is building next. Let's pull back for a second and think about what this ship actually is. It does not carry jets. It is not the fastest thing in the fleet. It does not announce itself the way a carrier strike group does. From the outside, it still looks like a tanker heading to a refinery, and that is precisely why it keeps working. Every level inside this hull connects to the next. The fuel stored below the waterline reaches the aircraft above it. The intelligence gathered by unmanned vehicles below feeds the command spaces, planning the next move. The cranes, the boats, the armories, the command seats, all of it runs together as one system that never fully stops. When one mission ends, the containers get swapped, and the next one begins. And while most people were watching carrier strike groups make headlines, this ship was already working. In April 2020, it held position in the Persian Gulf while Iranian patrol boats circled within 50 yards and eventually pulled away. In January 2024, a team launched from its mission deck at night in the Arabian Sea and boarded a vessel carrying Iranian missile components in rough seas. 2 different waters, 2 different missions. The hull never moved between any of them. That is what the hidden decks actually are. Not classified rooms, not some secret the Navy buried, just a layered, connected system running quietly beneath a flight deck that most people think is the whole story. It never was. The most capable parts of this ship have always been the parts you were never supposed to notice.